A warning from the Prime Minister to PSV operators in the Transport Augmentation Programme. The water prohibition notice has been extended. A KFC outlet hit by a work stoppage. And in sports, Rovman Powell joins Barbados Royals for the 2023 CPL.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. PSV operators could find themselves out of the Transport Augmentation Programme if they continue to flout the rules. The stern warning from Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley during last night's session of Parish Speaks in St. George. Sharika Griffith reports.
It was this submission from Todd St. George resident Janelle Holder that prompted the Prime Minister's warning to TAP operators.
The TAP program is supposed to also accept the ID card just like the Transport Board buses, but they're asking pensioners to pay the bus fare.
But they can't, because they're also being allowed, you're paying them for the pensioners. So that is wrong. Please give us the bus number and let the ministry deal with them. And if they continue to do it after they've been reported, then they may find themselves out of the program. 3 strikes and you're out.
Buses in the TAP are essentially an extension of the Transport Board and are expected to adhere to the same rules and regulations. Transport Board's Chief Executive Officer, Fabian Wharton, confirmed the board is aware of the situation.
The board is aware that this is happening in certain pockets of the network. We have met with the TAP owners and identified and explained to them this cannot happen, this cannot obtain. We have had scenarios where TAP operators would have cussed old people, and we would have had the evidence, and we would have put those operators out of our system.
Residents also learned that 10 more electric buses are due to arrive next month. During the over 2.5-hour town hall meeting, they engaged government officials present on a wide variety of areas.
FB are concentrating on ecotourism and community tourism. The amount of gullies we have in St. George, we can develop them and we can have some interesting tourist attractions. We don't only have gullies, we have caves also.
The road has deteriorated over the years to the point where I can't walk through the gap properly. If the rain falls, I can't walk through the gap at all. If a car comes through the gap, the bottom of the vehicle scraping. We have 3 street lights, only 1 work.
On the topic of gullies, Minister of Environment and National Beautification, Adrian Ford, said there's a plan for the resuscitation of gullies across the island, and the paper is set to go before Cabinet. As it relates to the state of some roads, Acting Chief Technical Officer in the Ministry of Transport, Works and Water Resources, Philip Tudor, confirmed they will be ramping up remedial work, having recently received some new equipment.
We have about, like I said, about 10 roads to be done in the St. George area. We finally got the 3 Bobcats that'll be the plan to use for this program. So we hope to be able to speed up this work sometime between next week or week after next. The program basically consists of using mill stuff that was taken off of the airport runway, and we store that, and we're going to use that back. Basically, it's like recycling asphalt.
Prime Minister Motley has also asked the Attorney General and officials in the Ministries of Housing and Works to look into a blocked public access road in Erie Hill. She's expressed a preference for mediation instead of a drawn-out court battle. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
The over 6,000 households which have not yet received their rollout of garbage bins should get them in short order. The update from Minister of the Environment and National Beautification, Adrian Ford, during that St. George Speaks session. Under the Residential Waste Collection Improvement Project, government in conjunction with ProSource Limited has been providing households with 65-gallon traceable rollout carts for general waste and 18-gallon recycling bins.
We had about 6,775 persons who did not get cans for various reasons, and unfortunately so too. But just to say, the ministry, working with ProSource, we have acquired about 10,000 garbage cans. So the distribution is supposed to, well, it commenced It started on the 17th of this month, and I want to say that it will be for a period of 6 weeks or so to finish off. And every single person in Barbados who is entitled to a garbage can will get those beautiful cans, and I want you all to treat them with the level of respect that they deserve.
The water prohibition order for Barbados has been extended. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport Works and Water Resources made the disclosure at a media conference at the offices of the Barbados Water Authority in the Pine today. She said Barbadians had shown compliance with the first order, but monitoring systems in place by water officials suggest the island is not out of the woods.
The board has since indicated that the recommendation is that we do continue the water prohibition until the end of August 31st. I think last week you will be aware that we would have received some groundwater monitoring equipment through USAID. Very grateful to them for assisting us with that. That will also help to facilitate the Barbados Water Authority being able to determine the levels of water.
The Barbados Water Authority's Manager of Environmental Resources, Alex Eiffel, said the recent passing of Tropical Storm Brett had brought significant rainfall, but the island is still in a drought.
As far as the predictions on rainfall for the June, July, August period, because it's usually the forecast within 3-month period, they're still expecting a lower than normal rainfall season in the wet season. That is what they call the wet season climate outlook forum or forecast. So we're still expecting lower than normal outputs during that period. So therefore, those were the reasons we used that data to extend the drought prohibition until the end of August.
Health and safety conditions at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Oistins forced a work stoppage this afternoon. Andrew Lowe has that story.
And this be real hard. A KFC employee venting frustration about the working conditions at the Oistins fast food outlet that forced a work stoppage this afternoon. General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, says they invoke Section 104 of the Safety and Health at Work Act. This speaks to the right of employees to remove themselves from work that puts them in imminent danger.
There are complaints and evidence of insects and so on in the place. So why are workers out here? This is not a strike. This is just to have it reiterated. The workers are protesting the conditions that present them in imminent danger and puts their safety and their health.
According to Ms. Moore, the workers were told by the company that the action taken would put their jobs at risk.
Workers earlier were being threatened, a number of these being younger workers being threatened that if they don't report back to work, that they will lose their job. It is incidental that this action comes during a time when the Ministry of Labour is coordinating its observance of Safety and Health at Work Week.
The BW's General Secretary is again emphasizing to employers that occupational safety and health is a fundamental right adopted by the International Labour Organization.
In each case, we have been identifying Section 104 and seeking to remind workers that you cannot be terminated. Your job cannot be compromised because you remove yourself from a condition where you perceived yourself to be in imminent danger. So we have made contact with the Labour Department, they're on their way, and public health, because this is a public health issue.
The young workers were applauded for protesting the working conditions, a move which has forced a meeting between the employers and the Barbados Workers Union at the Labour Department. Andrew Lowe, CBC News.
Andrew, thank you. Well, efforts to get a comment from the management of KFC have so far been unsuccessful. Barbados has been highlighting to the international community its efforts to bolster the country's protection of workers. Labour Minister Colin Jordan shared some of the measures taken by the island as he addressed the 3rd Regional Seminar on Social Development hosted by the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean.
In the last years, we have implemented legislation to counteract discrimination in all its forms. We've added to our safety and health at work legislation regulations that give clarity to some of the provisions of our Safety and Health at Work Act. We are also in the process of making some changes and improving our protection of wages.
Minister Jordan also issued a call to member states of the International Labour Organization to embrace and ratify Convention 190 on violence and harassment in the world of work. He revealed that Barbados ratified that convention last year.
If we are to have inclusion, we have to address issues of violence and harassment in the world of work, and that convention speaks also specifically and directly to gender-based violence and harassment. And so we've been very involved in that.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, a home invasion leads to an elderly man being shot. An elderly man was injured after being shot during a home invasion last night. The Barbados Police Service says that incident took place at 7:45. Police revealed the 68-year-old male reported he was shot during a struggle with an unknown man who had entered his number 1 Hillside Road, Gall Hill, Christchurch home via the front door. The door was left open as the man sat eating. The victim received injuries to his right thigh and was transported to hospital via ambulance. Police say the assailant fled the scene via the said front door. Investigations are ongoing. One Calypso tent with a positive message will be opening its doors free of charge to the public. The Ultimate Calypso tent says they are the standard because they are altering the levels of the art form and providing family-friendly entertainment. Public Relations Officer for the tent, Zimron Andrews, told members of the media that it is the focus of the non-profit, non-judged tent.
This Calypso tent is also a family-based tent, and that is our prime mandate, to make sure that families have a wholesome place where they can come and enjoy the best of our culture. At one point, when we just started as a tent, we would have considered ourselves as an alternative tent. But now we are considering ourselves as the standard because we are setting a standard for the art form. Not only just Calypso, but we are, because part of our tent is the other genres such as the bashment soca, the sweet soca, and so we are setting a standard.
He added that they vet the songs which are to be delivered and they have to pass the test. Tent manager Billboard Murrell says the wholesomeness does not take away because they are true to the art form and the music.
We take a standard in what we're doing because outside of the actual Ultimate Calypso tent, we have trained and groomed our artists to be able to go into other tents. So we have artists, so we don't judge as a tent, but we have artists in All Stars, we have artists in House of Soca, we have artists in Gladiators, we have artists in the Junior Monarch, we have artists in the Experience tent. So we go out and actually compete in the competitions as well. And I am very proud to say that the Ultimate tent had 2 Calypsonians in the 2022 Calypso finals.
Youth Fest Barbados has the support of Minister of State in the Office of the Attorney General with responsibility for crime prevention, Corey Lane. Minister Lane joined in the latest activity, Worship at the Beach, at the Bay Street Esplanade. The national event is aimed at ministering to the nation's youth. The week of events ends tomorrow with Worship in the City. Mr. Lane, while addressing the event, said his duty is not solely about crime prevention, but saving lives and souls.
In this battle that I fight on a daily basis, it is not just a battle of crime prevention, it is a battle of souls for God. And as I feel the battle and I feel the weakness and I feel the tiredness, I am reminded that the battle is his and not mine.
Tackling mental health issues in Barbados has been the focus of the latest National Youth Parliament debate. Members representing both the government and opposition sides shared their views today about how to raise awareness about mental health and combat stigma. Prime Minister for the Barbados National Youth Parliament, Giovanna Eiffel, believes student volunteers can play a role.
In our resolution, there is an initiative seeking to provide that primary intervention with student volunteers who can support their peers and each other together as a group, which my colleagues will also give a deeper dive into. However, I want to make it extensively clear that these student volunteers will not be equipped with the level of training to diagnose persons or their schoolmates, but to be able to recognize the very basic signs of poor mental health and report to professionals.
The opposition's Tyrell Giles agrees with the view that society needs sensitization about mental health.
We live in a society that believes that as long as you go to therapy, something must be wrong. Any psychologist, any social worker or social practitioner can tell you that you need to go to therapy for maintenance of good mental health, and not when something is wrong. Well, along with when something is wrong. However, my plea to society is this: when does one pay their debt to society? When is the debt cleared?
It's Friday night, so let's take a look into Friday's sports. Here's Mark Seal. Mark, good evening.
Very good evening. The West Indies T20 skipper has been transferred from the defending champions, Jamaica Tallawahs, to the Barbados Royals for the 2023 Caribbean Premier League. The 2023 Republic Bank CPL and Women's CPL draft took place today, and Powell was a headliner as he's now teamed up with other Windies T20 players like Jason Holder and Kyle Mayers. Also signed is South African batter Rassie van der Dusen, who played previously for St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. The Royals also picked up West Indies ODI selectees Alec Athenaeus and Akeem Jordan. Powell says the Royals aren't the strongest team on paper, so the key players will have to step up their game.
It's as good as anyone. You know, it's not the strongest team on paper, to be honest, when you look on teams like TKR and who they have in their arsenal, you know. But having said that, I think the guys are upbeat. You know, we have some very good players. We have some good local talents in Barbados, you know, and it's good that I'm friends with them, and it's good that I've played with them over the years of me leaving Jamaica and going Barbados to play club cricket, you know. So it will come down when you don't have the strongest possible squad. It generally comes down to your senior guys, and your senior guys have to carry the weight of the team. You know, that is Jason Holder, myself, Kyle Myers. All these guys have to come up trumps. Obed McCoy in the bowling department, he will be very, very important for us, you know, when we look on the depth of our team. So it's important now for him to get fit. You know, it's important now for him to get back sharp just before CPL, you know, and see how best we can represent not just ourselves, but the Barbados franchise.
Meanwhile, the Barbados Royals women saw the retention of Captain Hayley Matthews, also all-rounder Chanel Henry and Kiana Joseph. They have signed 4 overseas players as well, in the form of experienced South African all-rounder Marizanne Cap, Australian duo of Laura Harris and Amanda Jade Wellington, and the Irish batter Gabby Lewis. The team will also have the services of Windies players Afi Fletcher and Aaliyah Allen, as well as Shadeen Nation. The Barbados Royals men will start their CPL 2023 campaign on August 17th against St. Lucia Kings, while the Barbados Royals women will face the Guyana Amazon Warriors in their opening fixture on August 31st. In more cricket news, Miles Bascombe replaces Jimmy Adams as the new director of cricket for West Indies. At a board of directors meeting in Antigua today, CWI appointed Bascombe to take over from Adams on a 3-year contract. Bascombe has played 1 T20 international for the Windies back in 2011, and he also played first-class cricket between 2007 and 2017 for both the Windward Islands and the combined campuses and colleges. He was the men's selector between 2019 and 2021 and has also been the technical director at the Windward Islands Cricket Board over the last 2 years. We'll have more cricket later on, but now let's switch sports to basketball, where Pinelands resumed their historic run in the Co-Operators General BABA Premier League last night when they defeated CAM Smart Assurance City United Celtics. Playing at the Barbados Community College, the Pines surpassed the century mark again to remain unbeaten for the 2023 season. Defense wasn't a hallmark of this game. On the inbound, Sydney Bouncer Rowe makes a pass over the halfway line to the Celtics captain, Stevenson Callender, who waltzes in for 2 of his 30 points. Then, from a mere defensive rebound, not a fast break, Pylan still had a 3-on-1, and Darian Hurley finds his brother Derony for 3, part of his game-high 39 and one of his 11 three-pointers. Eventually, the defense would tighten up, but still the Pine found a way to break the zone. Devron Knight gets into the heart of the D and turns with a fadeaway jumper, 2 of his 25. The Celtics surely saw the Hurleys in their dreams later that night, as those two were all over the City Ballers. First, Darian dribbles out of harm's way and finds an open Derony for another corner 3. Then the brothers did a tag team act on defense. Derony puts the ball away from Ashley Smith, straight to Darian, who makes another one of his 11 assists, to the one of the hot hands, another 3. Also with a good night was Rashid Maynard. He had 24 points. 2 of them come in here with this alley-hoop slam from the inbound pass from Jeremy Gill. Second half, with Pinelands up 57-34, and they're really displaying teamwork now, with everyone touching the ball on this play. Till finally, Maynard gets an open corner pocket look for another 3. The Pine made 23 of 81 from downtown, as they won this one by 44, 124-80.
In business tonight, a memorandum of understanding signed between the Ministry of Transport, Works and Water Resources and UCAL is being hailed as government's recommitment to the company. That's how it was described by Minister Cynthia Bradshaw before she signed on behalf of the ministry, while Attorney at Law and Chairman of UCAL, Hilford Murrell, inked the agreement for the company. According to her, the occasion signals government's intent to empower and enfranchise the workers.
As such, there is still some work to be done, but what we have been able to do is to look at the types of skill sets that we have within the ministry, as well as the skill sets that are available to us through UCAL, and to start to look at how we can work with them to be able to better train their staff, to be able to help us to complement what they're already doing, to certainly improve the operations of the UCAL entity.
Mr. Murrell said UCAL had withstood the test of time and the way forward now is bright.
Today, I speak as chairman of UCAL. I've been with it for 26 years. But I think is that it is the Barbados Workers Union who represents the workers, who I believe has more to say of the help that government has given to the working class people of Barbados.
International recognition of Barbados' new currency notes and how they've been introduced is a source of pride for the Central Bank of Barbados. That's the word from Acting Deputy Director Currency at the bank, Alvon Moore.
We are proud of the international kudos we've received. Our public education campaign was a finalist at the International Association of Currency Affairs Excellence in Currency Awards. And the notes themselves won Best New Banknote Series at the recent High Security Printing Latin America Conference.
The bank official said the new notes are also working well in the marketplace.
We are very pleased with the performance of the new polymer notes so far. There are already 6.3 million polymer notes in circulation, and we haven't received any counterfeit notes from the series. In addition, there have been significantly fewer mutilated notes than we've traditionally seen with paper banknotes.
Mark promised to be back, and he is. Mark, once again, hello.
Also promised cricket. A love of cricket has now turned into a business for UWI cricketer Anton Lucas Jones. The wicketkeeper batter, a bat repair business under the name Lucas Jones Enterprises, with the aim of filling a void. The 30-year-old's work has been endorsed by several players as he extends the longevity of their bats, especially if they have proven to be productive on the field of play. Anton's passion for bat repairs was born out of his own experience and the high costs associated with refurbishment. It prompted him to research the methods used in the process of repairing a bat.
I ran it by my friends, a guy that's playing for West Indies now, Kyle Mears and Marlon Welcome, which was 3 of us at that time. And they actually made a bit of fun about it at first. Saying, man, you can't repair bats, nah, you ain't gonna give me no good work. But it was playing on the mind and stuff like that, so I went home and I started to do my own thing, and it was successful, to be honest, so that's where it all started. This one, it had a break at the bottom, so I put a strap in down there, some wood glue, and brand new again. This one here is one that I did not clean up as yet, but I just wanted to show you all what we do. Here's a big split at the bottom and stuff like that, so we put some wood glue and put a strap in on that, and that'll be like brand new. And this one, the customer wants this one cleaned up with all the oil and stuff like that on the bat. So
he also says that Lucas Jones Enterprises is in a market of its own at the moment.
I don't know of much people doing it right now. There was Carlos Braffett that played for West Indies. He was actually doing that, but I don't know what happened to the workshop or whatever. I actually ran it by him and spoke to him about the bat repairs. He said he's taking a little break. If he's going to come back, he doesn't know. So there's not much people doing it. To be honest, it will save you a lot more money. Instead of going to buy a brand new bat, you could bring it, get your repairs done, and trust me, it will last like 3-4 years after that. So I wouldn't advise people to go and buy a whole new bat when you could come and see if you could get it repaired, you know. You can find me on Instagram. My number is 247-0953.
Well, that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Boeing. For the crew, to all of you, good night. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks for visiting us. Now, if you want to see more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always go to cbc.bb for the latest news and current affairs.